How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another video. I just wanted to take a quick minute to discuss something that gets brought up a lot, and it's, childhood trauma. And I completely understand that we are in a society today and more than ever where we're recognizing the impacts that childhood traumas do have. And I do see with the amount of people that I work with how that does affect many people to their day, whether they're in their 80s or their 70s, 60s, or they're in their 30s. And I do think, from my professional opinion, that it is important to address those things and knowing how to handle them and deal them. But even more so, as a parent, you want your kids to have, and this might sound controversial, but you want your kids to have hardships. And it's our duty, in my humble opinion, to teach our children how to handle the stresses of those hardships. And I'm not saying you need your kid to experience the worst of the worst. You know what I mean? But it is a matter of finding the balance of, many of us who've had our own traumas going, I never want my kid to have that trauma. And it's understandable. There's certain things you might have experienced that you're like, I would never put my kid through that. Totally agree. It's a matter of, though, of where we might be going too far for some of us is going, I don't want them to have any trauma. I don't want them to struggle at all because I don't want them to ever feel what I felt. And I want us as adults looking even at our parents of going, was that how I was treated? Because some people go, I was so abandoned and so alone. I didn't have any guidance, right? I went through this trauma with no one to guide me. And there's some people who go, I'm 18, 19 years old and I don't know how to take care of myself because I've never been given the opportunity, or my parents have always been on top of it because they love me and they care. And that's great. I'm not saying to not do these things. It is important, though, for us to allow our kids to struggle, allow us to struggle. And I've talked about this many a time where stress is inevitable. It's actually pivotal for our well-being. But it's not the stress, it's the how then we ultimately handle the stress. But we can't ever handle stress if we've never been given an opportunity. You know what I mean? And obviously, as parents, you want to create an environment in a home where there's a safety, where there's an ability to go, hey, I know that you just went through a trauma, but here is a safe place. And not everyone gets that. So I'm aware of that. I'm trying to look at how can we, as adults, for those of you listening, be the best parents we can be. How can we be the best versions of ourselves? It is recognizing, like, okay, maybe I don't do well with too much stress because I've never been given an opportunity. And now that I'm an adult, now it's been just put on me, or it's been presented to me in a way where I feel like now I don't have the tools to handle this. How can we change that? And or hey, all I've known is stress in the struggle, so I'm comfortable in dealing with stress. But there's some of you and many of us who just have never had someone to confide in, or the ability to express our emotions, or to feel safe. Everything's always been in fight or flight. So it's knowing each one is having a different experience with stress and these different traumas that could or may not be presented. But it is learning about figuring out, okay, well, where am I on this whole spectrum? And what am I doing? How am I also projecting that? If you do have kids or nieces or nephews or grandkids, how am I also projecting that? And asking yourself just a sincere question of, like, do I like this way of handling it? Or is it, hey, this is just all I know? You know what I mean? And if you're like, you know what, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I can handle stress well. I have no problems with it. I have great relationships with my kids, all these things, and that's great. They're, good for you. Then just taking it a step further, going, all right, well, if I still have issues going on in my own life or what I'm feeling, asking the deeper question, am I really okay? Are there things that are really all right? Or have I been really good at telling myself that it's all good? I can say from experience that I've done that many times, and I've seen it manifest and transpire in a physical form, whether it's skin rashes, whether it's some sort of random, things that start to come out of nowhere. I've gotten shingles before, and all stress related, but I kept telling myself, I'm fine, I'm good, instead of listening. So I want to be able to try to help all of you, or give you an opportunity to go, okay, we can try to avoid stress, pretend it's not there. we can try to avoid it altogether and procrastinate or never be actually involved in it, or we can be so involved in it and be very good at living in the stress, but never knowing how to lay off the gas, or feeling we have a chance to lay off the gas, and now we get an adrenal fatigue, or we're constantly in this fight or flight mode where the body's shutting down. So for us to be able to figure out and realize that we need it, it's necessary, it's good to teach our kids how to struggle, teach ourselves how to struggle, but knowing or finding a community, a family, people that you can, confide in and speak with to help you through those stresses. Because this is where it is a community, and a lot of people don't always feel that they have that. So ultimately, this video is trying to get you to hopefully recognize, asking yourself questions of, do I have a support system? Have I had a support system? Have I been given the tools to handle this? If not, as an adult, can I go get those tools now? Can I find the community? Can I ask myself questions? Can I be in my breath under these stresses? Can I physically train that type of skill of knowing how to create physical stress, learning how to relax myself under that stress, knowing I'm okay, being my biggest, cheerleader, supporter, learning then how to express that to other people, being that for other people who maybe don't have the capacity to do it for themselves. This is stuff that I'm always learning for my own life and my family, my son, and I hope that many of you can have that opportunity as well. So at the end of the day, we do need stress. It's not going anywhere. This lack of, or this life of comfort has its own stresses that come with it, but it comes on the back end. And we see it a lot with, retirees and anyone else who's lived a longer life of trying to just, how do I be comfortable? I just want to be comfortable. I don't want to have to struggle, which is understandable, but it gets to a cost where people don't even walk themselves. People don't even, get out of their house to do their, day-to-day chores. And that's great. It all can be helpful at times. But the more we live comfort, the discomfort and this stress comes on the back end. And then it's going, how do I now change this pattern that I've been doing my entire life? Right? It's very hard. And I'm not saying we can't do it, it's possible. But if we can be on top of it, or you can be on top of it, or your kids, or your grandkids, or your loved ones, where you can say, let's try to be on top of this now before we do go too far in one direction, right? You can then be that support system from someone else, or more so for yourself. So I hope this makes sense. I hope you enjoy the videos. You can find more at newbiologyclinic.com. We got a great support system there, a lot of great videos, a lot of great connections and networking. And obviously with the classes that we provide, you'll be able to be in the chats and if you ask questions if you need to there. So on that, I'll see you all soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you. Bye.